okay?
Right.
We are here with each other. He didn't have to do that. He could have been like, you know, in the Bible it said that, you know, that's a sinful thing that you guys did. You are both adulterous. Okay, we were like technically adulterous, okay, in God's eyes. But he's forgiving us. He's giving us another opportunity to show him how we can honor our marriage. Okay? We can trust and love each other. He gave us another chance to not make a mistake, to not run away, to communicate.
I get that. And that's showing his eternal mercy, and he's very good at forgiving people. And yes, I'm very happy that happened. That still does not address the brother's valid viewpoint that why is his brother who left and then came back after doing bad, after wasting the money on what is widely viewed as like a frivolous thing to do. Honestly, let's go to the New International. No. Don't give me the pause. Wait a minute. What does he spend the money on? The son says, "Father, I sinned against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son." But the father said to his servant, "Quick, bring the best robe. Yeah, we got it. Do him up well." The brother, the older brother. Here we go. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard the music and the dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. He said, "Your brother has come, and your father has killed the fattened calf because he's back safe and sound." The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, "Look, after all these," and this is the New International Version, right? He says, but he answered his father, "Look, after all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends." I'm going to let that go about that goat again because this is recorded for the podcast. Whatever that is, listen, whatever you're trying to do with the goat, with your friends, there's better things to do with your time and money, but whatever. Rubbish to the dumpster! So verse 30, right, you got, "But when this son of yours," note the wording, right? "When this son of yours who has squandered your property with prostitutes comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him." Right? This is a very felt statement. I personally feel this. It's like, bro, he left. I'm over here with thorns in my hands. This dude's out there spending your money on prostitutes, bro. What? I wanted prostitutes. Where are my prostitutes? No, I'm over here just, my hands hurt, bro. Anyway, so you wouldn't even give me a little goat. I wanted to go out and flex with the little goat. I couldn't even get the little one. You slaughtered the fat one for him. Anyway, so, and he says, all the father says back in verse 31, he says, "My son," the father says, "you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad, because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found," right? So I get that. I get what he's saying, right? So my major concern here is that's the end of it. That's all we hear on the story, because I feel like the brother has a very valid concern, okay? I'm not saying that like, no, I don't know. He got the brother who left got his cake and he got to eat it too. He was both of them were there. They were both brothers, okay? And the brother who left, he was the prodigal son. He ran out. He was like, "I don't want to do this. I'm taking my money and I'm spending it on hookers." And the dad was like, "Okay." And then he thought he was dead. And because he wasn't dead, he gets to get a party like he didn't do bad. He still left. That's wrong. You're not supposed to do that.
He did get his payment back. He got what he wanted. He spent all that money up. He had fun. He did his thing. And then guess what happened? A famine happened. He spent all his stuff up because he didn't stay home and learn how to save money and work with his family. And then he was sitting with the pigs. Like, if you go back into the beginning of the prodigal son story, because you were reading the end, so when we go back to the beginning, you'll see that after he squandered all of that stuff and had fun with the prostitutes and, lived it up, the famine happened, and then he was in a pig pen and working for people and like wanting to eat the slop because he was starving. He was hungry. He was lost. He knew he messed up, and so he went back to his dad. And his dad was like, "No, son, you can come home. You made a mistake. Mistakes happen. That's what Jesus is trying to teach us, to forgive people from making mistakes." And the other son that was all upset, he's like, "Well, I wanted a fattened calf to hang out with my friends." And his dad was like, "Well, You didn't say family and friends. You just said friends. So like it even points it out that he had selfish intents. His own brother that was jealous of the situation. But guess what? He had a house. He had family. He had a place that he could work so he could eat. And you know, you have to work and toil for some of your things, but you're together with family to do it. This guy lost everything and he had no one to help him, and he almost ate pig slop, and then he went back to his dad and was like, dude, I get it, I'm so sorry and I messed up. And that's what Jesus wants us to do. He wants us to like tell us those things and tell us that it's okay, you messed up, but I'm here to like say it's okay. I'm your father, Abba Father.
I still have. I'm not asking if the one son who left, because you said in the beginning one, right? So yeah, it was the son who left. This was his own doing. So any sort of negative on him, that's his own fault. He said, you know. So Jesus was like, he's like, there was this guy Jesus. I guess I gotta read it directly.
You read the other one directly?
Yeah, but this one, I'll read it when I get into it. Long story short, right at the beginning part, Jesus is telling the story to somebody else. He's like, listen, bro, there's this guy, and he had 2 sons, right? And the younger, here we go in verse 12, right? The younger one said to his father, he said, Father, give me my share of the estate, right? So he divided his property. The dad, he took his property and he cut it up. He ended up dividing the property. He said, here's your money, right? So it picks up verse 13. Not long after that, the younger son got together all that he had, and he took everything, all that he had, and he set off for a different country. And there he squandered his wealth on a wild living, right? These are the aforementioned prostitutes, right, that I'm so hung up on, right? Whatever he was doing, it was a wild time, you know. He was having a wild party, and it was great, and then it wasn't. And then, you know, there was pig slop, you know, there was a bunch of stuff. So it said in verse 14, after he spent everything, there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he began to be in need. You know, I don't know what, he began to be in need. I guess everything. Like, he needed food, he needed work, I don't know, he said...
He didn't have friends, no one took him in.
Yeah.
He had no family.
So he had a bad time, right? He had to eat, he had to go, I don't know, the point is, right? He had his bad time, right? His bad time might have been worse than being at home with dad and working in the fields, right? His bad time might have been worse than that. But I'm also saying, at home working in the fields, you didn't have no wild time. You didn't have nobody saying, hey man, you spent half of dad's money, all that was owed to you. You know, dad cashed his life insurance policy, gave you $10,000, and you blew it all on hookers, right? And just because you happen to be someplace and got yourself into a bad way for being a dummy, right? Might I point out, from the brother's point of view, if I'm playing brother's advocate here, right? If I'm one brother talking to the other brother, listen, stupid, you left. Nobody told you to leave. You were like, I want my inheritance. Give me my half now. Dad had to go and cash in the stuff and give you the money, and I had to pick up the lion's share to work while you were out there living it up with the prostitutes and having your wild lifestyle, right? And just because the famine hit, right, and you were there and you were too stupid to come home and you ended up sitting there almost eating pig slop before you realized that you got a family, dummy, and then you come home, now you get a party? I don't buy that. That's not fair. That older brother gets a party too. That's not fair. So I completely understand the older brother's point of view on that.
That's
like, if
fine.
anybody can spell it out, give me some comments. Hit us up in the comments, you know?
It's fine to understand it, but you shouldn't want to be agreeable with him, because it's being selfish. You're the guy that came back is so humbled. He could have just like sat there and died and just, you know, withered away, and he would have just been dead. God doesn't want us to die. Like, he could have just been like, well, I'm not going to go back to my family. Like, we need to trust that God's going to take us in and forgive us, and that's what the story is about. That we can come humbly back, groveling and dirty, and we were trying to dig our own path over here when God had a lit path over here. Like, God wants us to follow His light. That's what the story is about.
Oh, see,
so
I
we're
get
not
it.
supposed
I'm
to be on the
focusing on the
sidelines.
wrong part of it.
Yeah, it's an image.
Because normal people would have just sat there and they would have been like, I guess there's people out there, I should say, that went in that position after acting so boldly and stupidly in front of their whole family. The prodigal son, you know, he's like, I want my inheritance, go, you know what I mean? He gets his money and runs off, doesn't care that he leaves his brother in a bad way, doesn't care about any of it. He's just like, I'm out, guys. right? Such a bold move. I guess a lot of people, when things fall apart, they would stay there. They would just sit there and be like, well, this is my bed, I made it. I don't know, I guess...
Yeah, so
I guess
the
that's
son,
because...
the son being jealous is just showing
That's
that
just
we're,
an extra on the outside.
Our human nature is still envious. Even though we have all these good things and God provides all these good things to us, we're still envious. We still want those things. And like his dad was like, he brushed over it because he's like, you're young, you don't get it. You don't understand what it means to like have that full forgiveness for something and be worried about something. Like God is always worrying about us because we're so far away. So he wants to bring us back home and right onto our path rather than twirling in the mud.
Alright, so this has been the first episode, I guess, of what is it? Bipper Buds Bipper?
Bipper's Bible Buds.
Yeah. First episode of Bipper's Bible Buds. If you like this kind of content, hit that like and subscribe button and let us know how you feel. You know, if we handled this in the proper way. You know, if we're too cavalier with the scripture, if we are, we're sorry. I'm not trying to be like that. And when I say we, I mean me mostly. I mean, I'm Captain Paraphrase. Because if you want me to put something into everyday words, like, you could have a Bipper Bible version, a BBB, you know, Bipper's Bible version. Or just, I just read the New International and just give like a paraphrase back. Like, I'll give direct words from Jesus. I'll probably get that from the King James. Like, I'll give little side things. Like, here's the thing. Like, in the old school, it really says this, da 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 da. I wish we had Bible nerds, because then we'd like be able to link that. Because I love that phrasing. I'm going to touch on that before we go. Where the son was so upset in every translation, the New International, the CEB, what's that, Common English Bible, the King James Version, there's always a reference where the son will put that, the son does that very human thing. If anybody's ever been hanging out with a friend and they know you bring your friend around, right, and then your other friend brings a friend, and that friend gets weird, and you're like, bro, get your friend. Like, you know what I mean? You might both know him, but you're putting all that blame over, like, yo, get your friend. Like, that's not my friend, get your friend. So the son says that. He's like, yeah, and you did this for your son, like when your son left, you know what I mean? And then when the father hit it back, he didn't even address his argument. He really just made his own point. He's like, no, we're celebrating because your brother, I thought he was dead and now he's alive, right? Your brother. Like, he puts that quick thing, he throws it back. He's like, no, he's not only my son, because if he's just my son, that's completely fine, because guess what? You're my son too, so you're brother. So we're all brothers, brother. All right, if you like that, hit that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to light up